This is me pulling up to Tesco on a Sunday morning to grab some milk and dog food for free, my 3-year-old German Shepherd. I walk in, head straight to the back of the shop for the milk, then swing past the pet aisle to grab the dog food. And as I'm on my way out, something stupid starts to happen. Something I hate, but that somehow keeps happening every time I step into a supermarket. I start wandering around the shop with absolutely no plan. One aisle turns into another, and before I know it, I'm putting things into my trolley that I don't even need. I walked in for 2 items, and somehow walked out with 13. And it turns out I'm not the only one who does this. Supermarkets are carefully designed to make sure this happens to millions of people every single day. They use every trick in the book to get us to buy things we never planned on buying. So we broke it all down to show you the evil design of supermarkets. The supermarket as we know it began taking shape in the early 20th century. Before that, grocery shopping was a completely different experience. Customers didn't wander aisles, they stood at a counter and asked for items one by one. That all changed in 1916 with the opening of the first self-service grocery shop, Piggly Wiggly, in the United States. For the first time, customers were encouraged to browse, pick up products themselves, and move freely around the store. This single idea completely changed retail forever. The concept spread rapidly and laid the groundwork for the modern supermarket. Over time, chains expanded, layouts became more refined, and shopping slowly transformed into the carefully engineered experience we know today. Fast forward to now, and supermarkets are one of the biggest industries in the UK economy. Britons spend hundreds of billions of pounds on groceries every year, with the average household spending well over £60 per weekly shop. There are tens of thousands of supermarkets and convenience stores across the country, employing well over 1 million people. These companies are clearly making money, a lot of it. But surprisingly, not in the way most people think. At first glance, you'd assume supermarkets make their money simply by selling food. And while that's technically true, it's not where the real profit comes from. Supermarket profit margins are incredibly thin, often sitting between 1 and 3%. That means if you spend £100 on a shop, the supermarket might only make £1 to £3 in actual profit. When you factor in rent, staff, refrigeration, logistics, and waste, surviving on food sales alone would be nearly impossible, which is why supermarkets aren't really in the food business. They're in the real estate business. To understand how this works, you first need to understand supermarket layout. One of the most common layouts is the grid system. Long aisles are arranged in neat rows, usually at right angles, allowing shoppers to see down multiple aisles at once. Every detail is deliberate. From the width of the aisles to the height of the shelves, every square inch of space is optimized to guide your movement and maximize exposure to products. Most supermarkets also use a looping layout, where the flow of customers entering doesn't cross with those leaving, subtly guiding shoppers on a predetermined path through the store. But none of this is where the real manipulation begins. That starts the moment you walk through the doors. The first area you encounter is what retailers call the front of shop. This is almost always where you'll find fresh produce, baked goods, and flowers. This isn't accidental. Fresh fruit and vegetables are brightly lit with warm directional lighting, designed to make colors look richer and food appear fresher. This creates a subconscious sense of quality and health, putting you in a positive mindset before you even reach the rest of the shop. Once that visual appetite is satisfied, the supermarket needs to make sure you don't just grab a few apples and leave. They want you walking, and walking, and walking some more. That's where the traffic builder strategy comes in. Ever noticed how milk and bread are almost always at the back of the store? These are staple items that nearly everyone needs. By placing them as far away as possible, supermarkets force you to walk past dozens of tempting products on the way. The longer you walk, the more likely you are to make impulse purchases. That's also why many of the best deals are hidden at the back. They're bait to pull you deeper into the shop. Once you reach the center aisles, that's where supermarkets really start making money. This is where the real estate model kicks in. A huge percentage of supermarket profit comes from something called slotting fees. Brands pay supermarkets enormous amounts of money to have their products placed in specific locations. A single product can cost tens of thousands, sometimes even hundreds of thousands of pounds, just to secure a particular spot on a shelf. And the most valuable spot of all is known as the golden zone. The golden zone refers to shelf space at eye level, roughly 4 to 5 feet from the floor for the average adult. Products placed here can sell up to 8 times more than those placed higher or lower. Supermarkets even adjust shelf layouts based on the average height of the local population. Shelf depth is also intentional. Golden zone shelves are usually shallower, making products easier to grab and visually cleaner, reducing friction between seeing and buying. And the golden zone isn't the same everywhere. In the cereal aisle, for example, the golden zone sits much lower because the real target audience isn't adults, it's children. Supermarkets also subtly design aisles around right-handed behaviour. Around 80% of people are right-handed, and studies show shoppers naturally look to the right more than the left. That's why higher-margin products are often placed on the right side of aisles. Even the flooring plays a role. Slightly more resistant textures are used in certain areas to slow you down near products they want you to notice. By the time you've filled your trolley with far more than you planned, you finally head to the tills. And you might think you're safe. You're not. Supermarkets know that every second spent waiting increases the likelihood of impulse purchases. A significant portion of total sales happens at the checkout area, with the majority of impulse buys occurring just seconds before payment. That's why modern checkouts are designed like obstacle courses. You're funneled through narrow lanes filled with sweets, magazines, drinks, and small, just one more items. Some stores even deliberately keep fewer tills open to increase waiting times. And that's not even touching pricing psychology. The 99 pence trick, which boosts sales dramatically. Bright yellow reduced labels, artificial bakery smells, carefully chosen background music. It's all part of the same system. So next time you walk into a supermarket, treat it like a casino. Go in with a list, stick to it, and get out as fast as possible. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.